My goal is to find at least one good film before the summer hits of this year. What's up, guys? Welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of The Rhythm Section, the newest film from director Morano. So before we begin, if you like my content, please hit that subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next, and comment below on any video that you watch my channel. So The Rhythm Section has a problem. It's an interesting idea, it's an interesting concept that is executed rather poorly because it's not a very interesting or fun movie or even an entertaining movie. It stars Blake Lively as Stephanie, and Stephanie is a person who lost her entire family to an airline accident, and she has gone on a downward spiral. The downward spiral involves drugs and prostitution, and it just like, I can't believe this is in this movie because it just, why is every action fatale, femme fatale movie have to have these dark, brooding, drug-induced moments I'll never understand? But she is basically brought up and rescued by this reporter who basically explains to her and kind of convinces her that the airline accident was no accident. It was actually deliberately done by a terrorist cell who set off a bomb. So it's that type of movie. And she goes and she learns how to become a better marksman, a better person, a better fighter by this character named Ian, who is played by Jude Law, who's having some fun in this movie. Her and Jude Law have some good back and forth. And she is basically training to take down this terrorist cell, to take down the people responsible for the deaths of 239 people. And she will do anything in her power to stop it and to stop more people from dying. And that's an interesting concept. That's a really kind of fun concept, but it just doesn't work. Then we have Sterling K. Brown in this movie, and he's really kind of useless. He's kind of just in the movie, and Sterling K. Brown's much better in other movies. Look at Waves. But he's just in here as just kind of the person that has information, and the information behind who he is isn't really that interesting. And that's this main problem is like these characters should be fun, they should be entertaining, but they're really not. I mean, and as hard as Blake Lively and Jude Law try, they can't save the material in this movie. They can't save it from being mediocre and just kind of not interesting because it's based off a book that's also written by Mark Brunell. And I'm not saying that he's like a terrible writer, but I think his content got lost in the ether or got mixed up. I don't know if he just doesn't know how to write scripts. I don't know much about the guy, to be honest. But it's also produced by Eon Pictures, which is the people behind the Bond series. So there's a lot of Bond feel to this movie. Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli, who are the producers of the Bond films at this point. You can really feel their imprint in this movie, but the ideas that they're presenting are not working. There's nothing working in this movie, and then there's like ideas thrown in there, and there's plot points thrown in there that really hampers the movie down, that really kind of creates a plot hole problem, a problem of flat dialogue and flat characters. And there's a moment where two characters do something, the way they interact with each other, that is completely not deserved because the way they interacted in the earlier of the movie doesn't really justify how they get to the point that they get. And then when the resolution happens and the ideas happen in this movie, it doesn't feel earned, it doesn't feel respected to the audience, and it just feels like a major misstep for a movie, which could be very entertaining. There is a great concept and a great idea behind this movie. It's not there. There's nothing there. Nobody in this movie seemed to be excited to watch the movie. Nobody seemed excited to make the movie. It felt like a Bourne ripoff or a James Bond ripoff or any of these spy action thriller ripoffs. And there's so much better content out there you can watch than this movie. And it's such a shame because Morano is known for working on stuff like The Handmaid's Tale, which deals with some very uncomfortable subjects. So you think the ideas and logic behind that would fit better on the big screen. And maybe because this is her first, because maybe it's her first true directorial job as a film director. But I feel like she has the ideas behind her, but just the concept and the execution just wasn't there. And then on top of that, this movie feels a lot like The Foreigner, which was another film that had Jackie Chan. It was directed by Martin Campbell. It feels so similar to that and the over-the-top, goofy Cold Pursuit that it gets lost in the mix. It's like we have these people who have lost relatives. The reason they lost relatives is because of these terrorist people or these bad guys. and they're finding ways to go after him and take him down and strike him in the badness and take him, kill them all. And Richard Blake pops up in this movie, and it's just like, why his character's in. Anyways, he's not very good in the movie. But on top, there's another situation where it's just the violence just feels undeserved. It feels gross, and that's what this movie is. It's a lot like Red Sparrow, where it just feels gross. And then we have Hans Zimmer, who is producing the music for this movie, and I think he has somebody under him doing the actual music, so he's kind of in charge of the music. But he uses material from Inception, Gladiator, and The Insider throughout this movie, and it is very, very distracting. It is so distracting that you're like, why is this a Hans Zimmer score? Why didn't they get somebody who could create a decent score? Because you're so distracted by similar tones and themes, and just it's a major problem. But with that said, like I said, it's a movie that really does try to entertain you, but just completely falls flat. It completely misses the execution. And it's just not a very good movie. And as much credit as I can give Blake Lively and Jude Law, they just feel like they have nothing to give to this movie. They feel so weird and out of place in this movie. And then Sterling K. Brown, like I said, he's so underdeveloped in this movie. It's ridiculous. But that's it. That's my take on the rhythm section. I finally found out what the rhythm section means. It has to do with like your heart and breathing and lungs, like when you slow yourself down to focus, stuff like that. So I get that now. It makes sense, but it still doesn't make the movie any better. So, but that's it. That's my take on the rhythm section. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button at the top to find out what's coming next. Comment below if you see this movie. Tell me what you think. If you liked it, that's perfectly fine. If you didn't, let me know why. But otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for checking out Movie Emporium. I really appreciate it. If you want to, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification button and the bell at the top. Find out what's coming next for Movie Emporium. Also, check out these two videos. They're amazing. I think they're awesome. I think you'll enjoy them too. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.